Okay, we're rolling. Okay, everybody, good evening. Some of you will be watching this tomorrow. It's now very late in the morning on a Saturday.
1:10 Sunday morning.
1:10 Sunday morning. So I'm here with my sister Georgia.
Hello.
And what we're doing is we're answering a text today that I got from a guy called Caleb Waller. You see there? Now Caleb somehow thinks he's involved in my alien autopsy. So the story goes he sent some film, a strip of film, to my friend Philip Mantle, and he in essence what he did was he reckons this is real film, and basically Philip doesn't think it's real film. In fact, I know it's not real film. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to film this. G, can you read it?
Yep.
For the audience, just to save them the tediousness. Let me just get to somewhere reasonable. Okay. All right. He talks about an article that Philip wrote about his film. Philip basically said it's not real because it's 35mm with a stereo soundtrack, and that just simply doesn't date to 1947. Okay. So. We go on. Can you read it, Nancy?
So, hello, Spyros. Something you should know. A few years ago, I sent Philip Mantle some film cells of an alien autopsy that I believe were genuine. Philip received them and claimed them to be fake because of the stereo soundtrack present on the film, and then accused me of attempting a hoax. Soon after, he wrote various articles in magazines, one of which will include...
Anyway, listen, don't worry, that's boring. In essence, he's having a go at Philip because Philip said it wasn't real because of that situation. He sent me the Hoaxing the Hoax that Philip wrote. And then I go on to say, hi Caleb, Philip is not like that. He basically said, sorry, I missed a bit here. He basically said that he thought that Philip deliberately said it wasn't real so he can write a story. And somewhere here, where is it? Okay, accused me of attempting a hoax. Soon after, he wrote various articles about it in a magazine, one of which will include after the message. The article was even mentioned on the front page, so I believe his ultimate aim was to accuse me so he could profit and create a story out of this. Okay, so basically he's saying that Philip did it deliberately so he can make some money out of it. So I said, look, Philip is not like that. When I met Philip, he thought the alien autopsy was real. I showed him much stuff and he now knows I made it, and it's not real, none of it is. And I went on to say that it's not real. I went on to mention the stereo soundtrack. If anybody wants to read this for themselves, I'm holding it on the screen so you can stop it and read it. But I'm telling him it's 100% fake. Then he sent me this clip, okay? Now this clip is the 35mm strip of the alien autopsy. Now can you see the big gaps between here and here? Well, that's not how 35mm film looks. Okay, these pictures here would be here. Okay, they would be next to each other, but this is quite spaced out. Also, what I note from this is the aspect ratio of this picture is 16:9. Okay, and the alien autopsy is 4:3. So that's also wrong. Now, I didn't originally recognise this still because it doesn't actually exist anywhere, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But long story short, somebody has taken the original footage, or what I now know to be true, a photo, and then they've just filmed it, a still photo. So that still, and that still, and that still are all the same picture. Okay, none of them changed. There's no movement in those at all. Okay, so now we've done that, let's move on to the next bit. Where am I? Where am I? I need to close that. So I've got it. Okay, I've got it. Okay, so that's where Caleb is. Okay, there. Right. So now if we move on to the next part of the message. Okay. Okay. Right, I can confirm. Can you read it, G?
Yeah, it says, I can confirm these frames I sent to Philip. I can confirm these were the frames I sent to Philip, which I believe he still has his possession of, or he sent them to a friend for verification. My friend, who I no longer keep in touch with.
Hold on a minute, that's interesting. He doesn't keep in touch with his friend, so clearly they're not very good friends, right?
Okay, from Ireland.
From Ireland, okay.
Right. Sent me those frames and claimed they were the smoking gun of evidence. I too still believe them to be genuine, with or without a stereo soundtrack.
Okay, hold on, let's just stop there for a minute. It's got a stereo soundtrack on it, Caleb. That means they're not genuine, okay?
Right.
It means it's new film, okay? It's got stereo soundtrack on it. So with or without doesn't count. You can't say with or without because that doesn't disqualify the fact that it's a fake, okay? So let's move on.
So if they are not that of the autopsy, then they are of another autopsy. He should get Kodak to verify the frames so we know once and for all.
Okay. So I then wrote, Caleb, stop it. And I also put a little low in there, okay, because he's being silly. The creature in those frames are my creation. I designed it. It isn't real. These frames, therefore, cannot be real. Also, the image on the film is too small. If it was genuine 35mm, it would be, they're not. Therefore, the image was 16mm transferred too. Now, this is before I realised what I'm going to show you in a bit, but in any event, I'm telling him the size is wrong, and the film did not exist in 1947. I made it, you see, I made it in 1995, so it isn't real. I know because I designed it from my imagination. How can it be real, Caleb? Okay, are you saying I'm a psychic remote viewing genius? I assure you I'm not. Okay. He then goes on, and this is the bit that got me doing this. I've just wasted half an hour of my life doing that.
Right, and he says, if you can show me those frames which match with either your film or the Anton Deck version, like a frame-by-frame comparison, then I will believe you. Otherwise, I rest my case.
Right, so he hasn't got a case, but anyway, that's okay. He rests his case, so I say... I can't see the frames very well. At that time when I got that, I said I can't see it very well, and I said I would look at it later because I was on my mobile phone. Anyway, I have looked at the frames, okay? I'm just doing this so you can read it later. I basically said I can't understand how this guy gave you the smoking gun footage. It was so valuable. Why would somebody give you them for free and then never talk to you again? And then why would you, in turn, give it to Philip for free when you've got this amazing, really priceless footage? None of it makes sense. Okay. Now I'm now going to show you what I've discovered. Okay. Gee, what are you doing?
You're just holding it.
Stop it, because I'm not. I said, so put it in the centre. All right. All right. He said, I sent Philip Mantle to gain fame. Okay, so he sent it to him to gain fame. I knew he would write an article or two about the whole thing, which he did. Now lots of people know that I'm involved in the alien autopsy film and or hoax, whether they like it or not. I now have to get used to being famous, just like yourself. I don't know what to make of this. I don't know if he's being funny. I don't know if he's being serious. I don't know Caleb at all. Okay, so let's pretend he's being funny because it can't be anything else. The frames are bigger in the PDF file I sent you, the UFO Today issue. All right, so Caleb, my friend, let's have a little look. I'm going to close this now, and I'm going to show you what I've done. All right, because I took it very seriously what you said. All right, this is the frame. Or hold on, let's just show him. Let's just show you the frame. Let go a minute.
Maria says that you're shaking too much.
Yeah. Okay. See the frame here. Let me do that. Let go. Right. This is Caleb's frame. Okay. And down here. Okay. Now what I've done is I've gone to my film. All right. There it is there, and I found a frame which matches. And obviously it's the wrong way round. So what I did was I cut it out and flipped it over. Okay, then I needed to have this pointy finger, you see. So what I did was I found another frame that has a pointy finger in it. This is the genuine alien autopsy, okay. And then what I did was I cut out the arm, okay, and I needed to turn it over, obviously, to flip it over. So I flipped it over, and what I did was I placed the body on top of the picture. Now let's go back to these shots here, okay. Now this shot shows the original shot above, and then below I've squashed and I've amended the perspective, okay. Then if I flip it over, all right, that's the original there, you see. The tools were on the left hand side. So what they did to create the Caleb pictures is they flipped it over to be that way, okay. Then what I did was I cut out that body and I put the arm on top. Can you see the arm there? So that's in position. I had to cut the hand off, and I'll show you that as well. There we go. See, that's the arm and the hand, because I had to turn it to point downwards, okay, because the original hand pointed outwards. Can you see? So in essence, what I've done is I've done what these guys have done to create a still that looks like it's not from my film, okay. But I can show you how. I've just shown you how they got the elements for it, and that's the bigger picture, okay. So the original picture, cut it out, turn it over, flip it over. The original finger, cut it out, and then obviously cut the wrist. Can you see the wrist there's cut, it pointing down, laid on top now, that's laid on top, and then this is the finished thing, all right?
Which one's Caleb's?
And so if we now minimize this, okay, like so, we can see like that. Where are we? Sorry. There we go. All right, so this is the Caleb picture, all right, and that's my picture on the left. So I think
that's what Caleb gave you?
Yeah, that's what Caleb gave me, and that's what I've created. Now I can spend more time and make it better and you know, but I've shown you just how easy it is. Let's just see if I've got any more to show you here. Okay, so let's have a look. See how this is all the different elements. Okay, so this is the film strip from Caleb's. But what I've done is I've put the film strips how they're supposed to be. Can you see how they are here? They're supposed to. That's the bottom one. If you tilt it down a little bit, see this bottom one here. It's small, isn't it? That's what Caleb's looked like. But what I've done is I've blown it up to show you what a 35mm frame would look like on the strip. Okay, so whoever did it, you know, they've had a good go, haven't they? So this is there's the full side, the other arm that I've put on, okay, from my film. Now all I've got to do to finish it off, if I really could care enough, is see all these little angles here. That's just airbrushing in. I could just airbrush in a few creases into the thing there. The knuckles it's a bit darker. The eyes are a bit darker. I could have made them, but I've just got fed up. Once I've established that this frame is from my film, I kind of lost the will to do it now.
So which one's Caleb's?
This one's Caleb's, the one that I'm showing you there,
yeah,
with my arm on it. If
yeah,
I take that away, that's the Caleb's original one.
That's Caleb's original one that you've...
Yeah, and then if you look down here, okay, that one there, okay, so that's a very, very rough mock-up that I've created. Yeah, but can you see how I've created it?
Yeah, it's identical.
It's identical. So I've created it from all of these elements here, you see. All right, so if I now open that up again, now it makes more sense for you. That's the original shot.
From the original Alien Autopsy.
This is my original Alien Autopsy, and so is this one here, okay? Now, I've needed both of these shots because they've taken two bits from each one. So they've taken the body out here, and they flip the body over. Okay, and then what they've done is, in order to show that it's not the same picture flipped over, they've cut this out, so you can't see the tools. Otherwise, you'd see the tools on the wrong side. Okay, so by cutting the body out, which is what I've done here very roughly, okay, and flipping it over, you've created a brand new shot. All right, then you stick it onto a dark background, so there's nothing in the background, and then they've taken an arm, which is in the original film, and they've cut it at the wrist, and they've just made the hand point downwards, which is what I've done there. Okay, so Caleb,
Rest your case.
I rest my case, my friend. You're nothing to do with the alien autopsy. Absolutely nothing. I'm very flattered that you would want to be famous like me, apparently. But next time I see you, I'll give you my autograph, and maybe that'll be. Clearly, I'm not. Listen, I'm not famous by any stretch of the imagination. You know, this is not about being famous. It's a bit of fun. It became a bigger deal than it really should have been, if I'm honest, in the world. But you know what? You take it as it comes, don't you? But you, my friend, you've taken a still, you've stuck it onto some 35mm film, and done it badly. And what we've got a hoax of the hoax, I suppose. You're right.
So he did say, if you can show me still by still,
yeah,
I will rest my case. So this should be the end of it.
Okay, I've done it. If anybody would like to see me recreate this, and by cutting everything out and show you that I actually did it, I could do it. It'd be boring as hell, but I'll do it. It's not a big deal. But anyway, Caleb, you're not involved in the alien autopsy, not even now. Right, I'm not going to mention your name again because I think it's you've had your how many minutes of fame is it?
Oh, I think we've been here. Hang on, it was 20 minutes.
You've had your 20 minutes of fame, and that's all you're getting. All right. So anyway, everybody, take care.
Good night from me, and
it's good night from her, and we'll see you very soon. Bye.
Okay, guys, this is probably the most priceless item I own. What is it? It's this. The Alien Autopsy original UK film cell, intact and in all of its glory. This is the film cell itself. Just give you some close-up shots, guys, there to see it closer in the action. And then if we pan the camera around this way, you'll be able to see the serial numbers, etc., written in pen. This is property of Warner Brothers Studios. Just like that. I'm not going to unreel the film any further than that. Hopefully it gives you guys a closer look. You can see on that side again. Alien Autopsy UK. This is the film cell in question. This is the smoking gun evidence that we are not alone in the universe. The same writing. I'm not going to unwind the whole thing now, but this is special.